Hello everyone, I'm Elena and this is Applewood Tarot. Today's video is another card comparison. I'll compare and contrast different iterations of individual tarot cards to see how they differ from and are similar to each other. I assume if you're watching this all the way at card 6, you already know something of the tarot, and that I see it from a Waite-Smith-based perspective. This isn't a how-to, it's more my views and ramblings on the cards. Today I'll look at the Lovers. The Lover's primary meaning has changed over the course of tarot history. For the most part, it's considered to be either true love or choice. The current trend leans towards the latter. This isn't surprising considering modern attitudes towards love. Love can be a touchy subject for many reasons, so I see why readers avoid that aspect of this card. However, there are many facets to love that I think are also worth considering. In the Smith-Waite Tarot, several types of love are depicted in one image. It's a reference to the Adam and Eve myth, with a twist of a happy ending. Adam stands in front of a flaming tree. This can be seen as lustful or passionate love. Perhaps it's the tree of life, as that kind of love is what keeps life going in a physical sense. Fire is an interesting way to depict it. This kind of love makes your body go hot, but like fire, it must also be kept in check. There are many horrors that come from unrestrained lust. Eve is shown in front of a fruit tree. Combined with the snake, I can assume that this is the tree of knowledge. This, then, is the type of love she enjoys, or where her love grows from. It takes in what it can from the world around it, and uses that to grow fruit. The fruit can in turn be shared, consumed and used to grow more trees. Again, this must be treated with care. Adam looks at Eve, earthly love, while she looks up at the angel Raphael above them, spiritual love. I read somewhere that Raphael was one of the Watchers, though not among those who fell. Watchers, from my understanding, were a type of angel tasked with watching the human race, hence their name. Some of them fell in love and coupled with human women. They also granted them knowledge meant to be kept secret, which, among other things, led to the first witches. That we see Raphael here blessing the union of Adam and Eve suggests that their loves, of the flesh, of knowledge, of the spiritual, are accepted and encouraged by the divine. Does it also suggest that Eve herself is a witch? As for choice, that and love are not mutually exclusive. What I mean by this is, a person can say they love someone else, but if they act in a way that shows otherwise, their feelings cease to matter because love doesn't act like that. There's a half-truth that's often said that we can't control our feelings, but we can control our actions. In other words, you choose how to act, and those actions can be taken with love or not. If someone chooses to act in opposition to love, they can't turn around and use "but I love you" as an excuse, because there are certain things love does not do. Love is a choice as well as a feeling. And from personal experience, you absolutely can control your feelings, and especially who you love. This is illustrated well in the Lovers from Shadowscapes Tarot at the bottom right. Here are two people clearly romantically involved. The sun above them is similar to that in the Smith-Waite, implying positivity and divine approval. Both of these people have crowns. The man's is golden, which says he is royalty of some sort. The woman's is a flower crown, so she is what would be considered beneath his station. Each are choosing to set aside their differences in order to be together. From their coloring, crowns, and dress, I can see this as the union of sun and moon, which in turn may suggest love between the various aspects of self. Or maybe it's part of the cosmic dance that keeps the world going. There's another nod to the smith weight in the snake and apple beneath them. There are also roses and lilies, indicating passion and purity. If I were feeling skeptical about love, I may note that the man's crown is being carried off by doves, a symbol for spirit, but the woman holds on to her own crown. He is releasing that part of himself, while she holds on to who she is. He holds a lily and wears white and gold. This shows his purity and openness of feeling. She wears purple, a color of mystery, magic, and also royalty. Is she who she says she is? If he is the lily, she may be the rose, complete with thorns. If she is the moon to his sun, there may be some confusion or illusion going on here. But even if there is, what's to be done about it? Does that affect the feelings between them? Or is it part of the matter of choosing to accept each other in entirety? Maybe she's like Smith-Waite's Eve and can share in earthly love, but is also called to something else, and so doesn't give all of herself to this other person. Self-acceptance is what first comes to mind when looking at the lovers from Nicoletta Cecoli tarot at the top left. If this is still Eve, Adam is clearly not present. How does this change things? It depends on how one views the snake, but the relationship for the most part becomes about oneself. There is no sharing with another person, except for actions rooted in love, as mentioned before. The fact that this girl is the apple tree says that she already has sacred knowledge within herself. The snake is the means of access to this knowledge. Whether it's viewed as temptation, kundalini, Gaia, or what have you, to love and bond with it is to unlock all it has access to. It is to become self-aware. Even if the snake is seen negatively, as an evil creature, it still must be accepted as part of the self. Everyone has what's considered good and evil inside them. It's healthy to acknowledge and love all of oneself. This is different than choosing to indulge in destructive impulses or tendencies. I love how the snake is loving the girl back. I'm reminded of that painting called Lilith by John Collier. To make this about Lilith instead of Eve changes things a bit, but not much. Both valued a certain level of independence and knowing. Both made the decision to reach for more than what they were told to accept. Both ended up in the wilderness, separate from the God they were told to obey. As a woman, it doesn't matter which you identify more with. We are all Eve, we are all Lilith, we are all housewives, we are all working women, we are all mothers and crones and maidens, we are all women. I am not one to speak on the male experience, so if you're a man watching this, look for that elsewhere. But please think critically about what you find. The Dancers from Labyrinth Tarot at the top right shows a less elevated kind of love. Knowing the context of the movie, these characters choose to exist in a literal bubble, where all they do is indulge in hedonism. This is interesting, because that's an aspect that could more appropriately be assigned to the devil. There are definitely parallels between that card and the lovers. We'll see if it comes up when I reach that video. Minimizing pain and maximizing pleasure is a philosophy that many live by, whether they're fully aware of it or not. But where do you draw the line? The bubble is beautiful and fun, but also a little scary. It isn't a place for innocence. I think of divine madness and Dionysian cults. I'm sure it's amazing when you're in it, but from the outside it can look a bit much. The question is then, are you ready and willing to partake in this, or do you pop the bubble and return to the harsh unpleasantness of the real world? Is one actually more real than the other? It's funny how without any biblical imagery at all, it managed to tie back to those themes of innocence versus carnal knowledge, and the choice of whether to live in blissful ignorance or take your chances beyond what you've known and without a safety net. Of these, it has the most sinister depiction of love, if you can even call it that. Though I suppose it's similar to the effect of wearing rose-tinted glasses. The Lovers from Tarot Landscapes at the bottom left puts more emphasis on harmony than the others. There are several worlds meeting or coming together here. Land meets water, civilization meets wilderness, and two otters meet one another. The town on one side of the river symbolizes civilization, and by extension, that which is thought to be orderly and known. It can be interpreted as an individual or society at large. The forest represents the wilderness, that which is unknown, hidden, and seemingly chaotic. It also often symbolizes the subconscious. In that case, the fact that the bridge spanning the river, constantly shifting emotion, is man-made, expresses how conscious effort must be made in order to create access points with which to connect to our subconscious selves. Here are the themes of union that love can bring. But again, decision and action are required. Not only must the bridge be built, but it also must be crossed. I like the choice of otters for this card. Otters are water puppies, adorable and very playful. They move just as well on land as in rivers or the sea. This ties into the card's astrological association, Gemini. Mercury is already flexible, let's say. The word mercurial comes from how changeable he and Quicksilver are. Mercury is associated with earth and air, elements seemingly in opposition to each other. Gemini, the twins, is ruled by Mercury, so this already changeable character is then multiplied, adding more variables. I don't know if I explained that in a way that makes sense outside of my own head, especially since I am by no means an expert in astrology, but that's how I think of it. The otters being on opposite sides of the river brings to mind the story of the city mouse and the country mouse. These two are from different worlds, on top of being flexible in regards to environment. Yet there is still affection between them. There are benefits and drawbacks to all ways of life. It's a matter of what you're willing to put up with, but that does not mean that one is automatically better than the other. Again, accept all parts of the self and be whole, then choose the best way to live for you. I feel that I've said both less and more than what's usual in my card comparisons. Maybe the amount was less, but it feels like more because the cards gave more varied impressions. Or it's another case of my warped sense of time, and nothing is different at all. Either way, that's all I have to say for now. I like how making these videos shifts the way I see and think about the cards, and I hope watching them does something for you too. Thank you so much for listening. I mentioned it last time, but in case you missed it, let me know in the comments if there's a card from a particular deck I own that you want to see in an upcoming comparison. I'll consider including it if I haven't already filmed that video, so make requests if you have them. Thank you again, and see you next time.